Sweden. Sweden is a Nordic country located in the Scandinavian peninsula in North Europe. Its capital is Stockholm. Sweden is considered the most largest country in Europe. Sweden is a country with a tradition of Nordic folk dance music such as a polka, choris, vals, polska, and mazurka. Before we can talk about the particular instruments and musical culture, we will talk about the orchestra. Because the orchestra is a fundamental part of the history of both music and its interpretation of the symphonies of Swedish creatives. We currently have 10 professional orchestras in Sweden, orchestras with stable musicians, but we will mention the Royal Court Orchestra of Stockholm is one of the oldest orchestras in the world. It was founded by King Gustav Vasa as the court orchestra, Kungliga Hovkapellet. At the time, it consisted of a dozen wine players and a kettledrum. King Vasa's son Eric expanded it to 20 musicians, including 8 violas. At the coronation of Gustav Adolf, the orchestra consisted of 45 members. During the reign of Christina of Sweden, court orchestras reached their peak, with the musicians from Italy, France, and Germany. From 1731, public concerts began under the direction of Johann Heinrich Roman at the House of Nobles in Stockholm, the Riddarhost. The orchestra included singing until 1773, when Gustav III founded the Swedish Royal Opera. Then the court orchestra became pluri-instrumental. The instrumental genre is the largest in the Swedish traditional music. In the 60s, Swedish youth brought about the Renaissance rooted in Swedish popular culture. Many joined the Spelmarsch, folk music clubs, and performed in the mainstream radio and television. They focused on instrumental polska music, with voices and influence from other traditional genres becoming increasingly important signs in the 90s. Polska is instrumental music with a ternary rhythm. It is played with string instruments like a violin. The polka dance is very marked. It has strong steps and turns. The other hand, mazurka is a dance associated with oberg or mazur, today present in the rural tradition. Mazurka is a stylized form of music. The mazurka is based on a mazur, oberg, or kuchawirek. Three traditional mazurka prototypes organized from the Mazovia region in Poland. Polka, polska, choris, and mazurka are played on the most popular instruments in Sweden, which include accordions, violins, clarinets, sackpipa, and nickel harp. The violin is perhaps the most characteristic and original instrument of the Swedish folk tradition. It had arrived in the 17th century and became widespread until in 19th century. The nickel harpa is traditional Swedish instrument for excellent violin with cape. It's similar to both a violin and a wheel viola, and is known in Sweden at least since 1315, when it was carved into a door of a church in Gotland. During the 15th and 16th centuries, the nickel harpa was known as Torten Sweden. It's an instrument of 16 strings, where 4 are rubbed and the others vibrate of sympathy. In addition, the strings are played turquoise, not with the fingers, as the violin usually is. The sackpipa is a typical bagpipe of Sweden. In general, the bagpipe is an instrument that is widely used throughout Europe, including parts of Africa and Asia. The way in which the chanter, where the fingers are placed, and the drone, the part of the bagpipe that emits the pedal note. Produce the sounds varies depending on the type of reed used, single or double. It is an extremely complicated instrument due to the large number of strings and keys. On the other hand, as far as music is concerned, there is a vocal music such as a traditional semi or lap music called joik or joik. This is a music is considered as a spiritual tradition. Besides being recognized worldwide as an ancient folkloric tradition, this is song is a cappella or can be accompanied by drums, violins, sackpipa, and that's it. So that's all for today about Sweden and its representative musical instruments.